I don't particularly have anything specific to speak about. I just know that I haven't streamed about Kubera in a while. I think the last time I came on here and really talked about it was before the Anata arc ended, actually. That's a discussion I still want to have. I need Vince and Miles and them to be around so we can have a discussion. And I work with this series. I work better when I can bounce off other people and other ideas, because as much as I understand the main things, the minutia is lost on me because I haven't revisited that often yet. As I get more acclimated and I am like rereading it more often and stuff like that, I will know more, right? So I kind of rely on being able to bounce off other people in order for that. But Abyss has been really good. I actually was like, I don't know why I even thought this, because it's in hindsight I think it's stupid, but I was worried because I thought Anata ended really strong and it was really good. I'm like, how are you gonna follow this up? And I was just like, I don't know why did that even like iota of doubt or whatever even creep into my mind? There's no reason. She never proven me wrong.
A little something like eeny, meeny, right from the beginning. Smoke a little pack, but the pack never timid. Church, but I'm seeing it. Curse when I'm winning. She need a new back. When it's back, I'ma bend it. Slap up some guinea. Ask me to hit it. Watch a nigga black super yak, I'ma quit it. Swerve in the Benzie. Perfume is Fendi. Bobbin' move fast, real fast like I'm Ricky. Just cause I'm pretty. Came from the dirt. Showing up a nigga can't handle the work. Ooh, y'all, swing with it first. Young white girl like a ramble.
Never, exactly. Never doubt Kurigam. Never. That's on me. She be moving me, man. But this Raltara stuff being kind of fused with Maru and everything, I'm very intrigued, because I really wasn't sure what Kurigam was gonna do with Raltara. I had no idea what to expect. I thought Raltara was cool, but maybe because she wasn't supposed to kind of be in like present time, thought she would just kind of just fall to the wayside, so to speak. But Kurigan's finding very interesting ways to do things with her. That whole, I want to talk a bit about the. I hope I'm remembering as well as I can. With some of the stuff with Kaz, his brother, I think has, I don't know, double HAAS, and Elise, and like a young Brilith being there, and actually like really seeing Brilith's dad and stuff, and Jabril speaking about like, I guess it's, I don't know if it's a subset or a side. I don't know if it's something specific with her or it's a side effect of maybe learning or being proficient with silent magic, where she's like afraid, I guess, to lose like feelings of care towards her daughter. But I actually kind of booked and I'm like, did Kubera actually teleport kind of and go there, or did Cal and Vinka do that? I'm like, no, I think that was Lee's. I think she's the one who did that, so that was really dope. See, I thought she was going to be some fire that died during the time traveling, but she's important. Yeah, like I thought maybe after that kind of like drop about the Taraka clan and stuff, but even that stuff about the Taraka clan and what they used to be, I don't remember exactly how she phrased it. When she was talking about the attributes you need to use to destroy them, and after we learned about the Crimson Sunshine of Dawn, I don't remember exactly what she said, but I even think that stuff's started to come full circle, because the Garuda and Taraka clan are a lot more connected. I'm not going to speak for you guys, speak for myself, than I initially realized. I just assumed they were just, a Sura clan that existed, but the Garuda specifically and Taraka clan seem to have a lot of history, so that's interesting. Man, Kaz is just very sus. He knows too much. Yeah, like the kid and child Kaz is giving me like interesting thoughts, because I'm like, wait a minute. He's sitting there like the big brother is literally like, hey, wait for the adults, yada yada yada, and he's like, they abandoned us. Like, no, mom abandoned. Like it's kind of the emotional disconnect from the way he was saying that, like, Lee's, your mom abandoned you to die. Like, that's what mothers be doing. I was like, what has he been through? I never even considered some of the trials and tribulations of like, I guess, adolescence and childhood that Kaz could have possibly gone through. She's so good, bro. She's so good. But him saying this, it's a bear, and it was some freaky looking thing you've never seen. Like, that's not a bear, bro. What are you talking about? It's not a bear. Acting way too much like a silent magician. Even, yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, maybe that's, I don't know if that's part of it, but it was really cool to see the summoning of Kubera. like the god of Earth. I actually want to pull up some of the panels here, 'cause I think the panels are cool. I like how he comes when he's initially shocked, and they even pointed out because like he has a very composed demeanor more often than not. And there's that moment he's like, "Did you summon me?" And she's like, "Yes." He's like, "You effing lying brat." Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, I don't know if I don't know if I have the other one. I'll have to look on YouTube for it. But there's this one, right, where it's like, "Are you Kubera, the god?" She fucking summons him, and he's kind of like, "What the hell?" But this is the face that kills me. This is the one. This is the one. He's like, "Huh?" He's like, "You summoned me, you little chicky bird!" Like, and it's just interesting because it's like the very beginning portions of Kubera, in terms of the things we didn't necessarily know. It seems to be coming around to explain how, like, why things started off the way they were, because we tend to explore the past and then he regained his composure, and this was the panel where you're just like, all right, I'm normal again. Whereas it's like we're learning the reasons for why things were in such disarray as early as things started, because it looks like Rand is going to be around the time, or is traveling the direction of around the time Lee's village is supposed to be destroyed by Maruna and stuff. And I'm like, this is so sick. We gotta talk about Rand and Kalavinka a little bit too. That was really dope. But it's like, did she summon him or did she summon him? I know what you mean. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, it's like, what for sure is going on there? I think us knowing that Tarakas were the second strongest Garuda that existed, along before Maruna confirms Yuta might be hella old. I think that was always a thought that was it was implied. But I think you're right. Where like maybe it's a little more explicit now. But I think that was always implied to some degree. I could be wrong, but you definitely get that inclination a little bit. Let's see this even. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, Rand running into Maruna's sister was really, really, really interesting. I really like that part. I'm trying to remember exactly how it starts, but it's interesting first because he's actually not a actual Sura. He's a half, but she's not buying it, Sura speak. The level of strength he had. Did you come here to destroy this village? I'm like, Rand did it? That's all very intriguing. And then him learning like the family relation to Maruna and stuff, and he has to kind of like divulge information he doesn't want to get. So whatever. What about Kalavinka's design? I personally love it. I like it. She has a good design. She looks pretty cool. I even like her Sura form with some of the fire around her and stuff. I think she looks dope. I like her design. I'll be real with you though. I guess as far as like I guess female Garudas go, I think Raltaro looks a little cooler to me. I like Raltaro looks cooler. Call me stupid, but Kubera seems surprised that Lee summoned him, but shouldn't he have foreseen that? He did look surprised. I brought up earlier. If you're not doing anything, you can hop in, Miles. So I have someone to bounce off of if you want. Oh, I'm not even in Discord. If you want to, you don't have to. If you're busy, it's fine. Rand is a quarter. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, quarter. My fault. You're right. He's a quarter. My bad. Hey, I just wanted to say that I finally started Kubera a few weeks ago. I'm at Your Justice arc at the end of season 2, but I'm going to have to leave to avoid spoilers. I'm going to try to make it for the next Kubera stream though. All right, I appreciate you. All right, yo, you're in a really good part, because someone had recently asked me where they thought like these questions are always sometimes somewhat hard for me to answer just because of my perception. Where someone's like, when does Kubera finally like get good? And I'm like, you're under the impression that I never thought it was good from the get go. Did I know there was like a moment my patience would reward me, and I would get the payoff, the long term payoff? That I would argue to some degree happens in the middle of season 2. I think where you start to really connect some dots, some things start to go in the cycle and come back to its starting point. You're like, oh, and then a character level of intrigue elevating a lot. So that's how I would explain it. But I always think Kubera was good. So like when someone's like, when does it get good? I'm like, chapter 1. Something else. How goes it, man? Are you caught up, right? Or at least?
Yeah. I'm caught up.
I think the latest thing out is Abyss 12. Last time I checked. Am I right on that? Because then maybe I'm behind and I could read a chapter here. I think it's Abyss.
I believe I read it.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. Let's make sure. Oh, real quick, guys, explain the hiatus to me since you're here now. Apparently, she's on hiatus. Now I know we're like 20 chapters behind in terms of like what we get and what she actually has up, but like, yeah, I want to know if we how's that working? What chapters is it during the Abyss? Because I heard she has some special chapters that have been coming out. I'm not entirely sure. I just want to make sure I'm like prepared for that, because when Ashu first said that, I was worried. I'm like, Kubera and Tower got on hiatus. I have to crack the whip on myself for this content, bro. Like, oh no, but so yeah, what's up? If Lee's getting her village nuke doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what will. Top tier comedy. There's that too. Yes, it was pretty funny and viral from the get go. And I'm like, okay, now I need to know this. Abyss ended 3 weeks ago, I think. Okay. The Abyss arc is over. Curry is putting out side stories instead every week. Okay, then that's fine. Then we still have content. Just wanted to make sure we had content. But how have you been feeling about Abyss so far, Miles? Starting off with like Duran and Kellen Vinca stuff, and then seeing like young Lee's, Brilith, and well, I guess before that, there's Brilith's dad and Jabril and Lila, and Jabril having their little 1-on-1. That was interesting. There's Raltara and the Maru fusion. Like, what's going on? Like, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
You know, I'm always a moron when it comes to first reads of anything, so a lot of the stuff I'm just trying to kind of take in and make sure I'm not missing like small details that are obvious. I like it. I actually really appreciate that, like, she's used this time traveling saga just actually visit every single important like point in time that we've heard about in season 1.
Yes, exactly.
And now actually finally reaching Brilith's mom. When I saw it first, like, was it Abyssal 1? I was like, oh no, not her. Like, I'm surprised. At first, the Lila stuff confused me because I don't know why. I feel like maybe I just forgot that. I forgot like she was a quarter. I thought she was like in the younger generation. So I'm like, oh no, she was Brilith's mom's like best friend back in the day. She wasn't with Brilith.
Yeah, she was close.
I was surprised by how strong Lila was.
I'm kind of not, but I think with me, I was like, is it really Lila? But when I really think about Lila, she's usually not fully drawn. Like, very rarely do you just see Lila from top to bottom very clearly, naturally. I'm sure there's probably an in-story reason for that. Because think about how many times you've really seen Lila's true face, like, for real. She's always got a mask. She's always kind of shaded. You might see her from an angle to the side or something. Like, you don't really usually see her full body. So I was like, is it really Lila? I don't believe you because you're supposed to be friends.
It's the same. I was kind of like on that thing. I was like, is this like... It was like a weird thing. I was like, is this Lila's mentor? Because I can't remember the thing. Because everybody has like that mentor, like I feel like mother or father that have like some relationship with a god. And I can't remember... Lila's mentor was killed by Chandra, right? Was it mentor or mother?
I do want to say mother and mentor or something, or like maybe it was an overlap, maybe the same way with Jibril and Brilith. I do want to say that. I could be wrong. Chat, just correct us on that if we're wrong on that. But I think wasn't because Chandra didn't care about how much life force he was draining or vigor he was draining, and that was the cause of the summoner's death. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering that. It's been a while. Jibril summoning Kubera instead of Agni was shocking to me. I didn't even know why I had assumed that she summoned Agni. I just assumed too. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. That's why I think when I first saw the shadowy figure, I thought it was Lila's mother and mentor, not.
Oh,
okay. I was like, there's no way Lila's gonna do this to her, right? And then I just thought back to like what Lila even did to our Kubera Lees, and I'm like, nah, it's actually kind of believable.
It was her mentor. Chandra used up too much power and used up her lifespan. Okay, there you go. Jibril being a possible Kubera shook me. Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all. That was shocking. I think Lila's strength is because of Chandra's item. Maru commented on it too. There's that. That's a good point. I found the summoning weird though. Can you summon a god that's already been summoned? I think that's a good question, but it's like, I wonder, do you think it's because of Elise's natural, like, triple Earth attributes? Do you think there's, like, a hierarchy? Like, nah, like, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't have so much information. If it don't got CBL in it, it ain't for me. I'm laughing because I know Galam. I know Galam will like the series. He's going to like it. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, it is weird because I always assumed you needed to have the element to summon the god,
Yeah.
right? So maybe Kubera, because the name part is there, that's why she can do it. Because Kubera's the name thing's still weird of like the full connection he has with his people who has his name compared to the other gods.
Yeah. I feel Kubera may have been helping Jibril, but wasn't directly summoned, possibly. Oh, wait, yeah, there was that weird thing about, like, gods hiding their, like, true appearance and stuff to throw people off when cause they were talking about the winners and losers of the universe and stuff, too, right? So maybe there's some of that that's playing into it. So maybe he wasn't, like, properly really truly summoned, yes, the cheerleaders, yes, what they're called them, right? And then it's like then when Lisa's like, when Kaz is like, your mom left you abandoned. She's like, no, she wouldn't. And she summoned the god of I gotta tell you, man, these last couple of chapters have re-elevated Kaz's intrigue for me. I really like kind of lost the I knew he wouldn't be unimportant, but I was like, what the way that they met up, while I liked it, it was kind of weird to me. It wasn't like how I thought how it would play out, so I kind of like pushed Cass to the wayside. By the way, though, with the Eye of Perishment against Maruna was dope when he swindled him. But the way he's talking as like a child, like so almost emotionally disconnected from the fact his mother's abandoned him and his big brother. The way he was speaking, I'm like, why does he sound so cold and indifferent? That's crazy to me. Like,
I wonder if it's the chaos attributes that makes him like that.
You think some attributes kind of maybe? Oh, I never even thought.
Maybe. Because chaos is weird. Because chaos is like the. Is it the absence of it? It's because chaos is a weird one.
I think there are multiple methods to summon a god. Okay. You do seem to need the triple attributes normally. In the enemy timeline, after Agwan and Natasha died, there was no one left who could summon Agni. That's a good point. So was Kali always Taraka, or did she take some of the name of Taraka later? Also, Jibril didn't summon Kubera. He was there hidden. Okay, yeah, I think that's true. I think he's right on that about that one. It seems there is a normal way to summon the gods, triple attributes, and a cheerleader method. Okay. You think, and Scope agrees with you with the chaos thing. Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, Callie took the Taraka name. It was like somewhat in season 2 they mentioned that when we got introduced to what names are, we knew she took a name of a Nastica. So that the Nastica that we now have full confirmation of was Taraka.
Now, a really interesting moment. Well, I'll talk about the Rand stuff a little bit too. First of all, like how's everybody been kind of enjoying Rand's journey? I actually want to say something. I guess two things. One small jab at SIU. Sorry, this is the better Rand. Second, if you had told me when I was reading Kubera that the type of character journey Rand was going on would be this intriguing, this interesting, and this dope, and especially in conjunction with Maruna and them kind of going in the opposite directions, I would have never fucking believed you. I'm like, this nigga is here for comic relief. He's the funny guy. And I would not have believed you. I cannot believe how far he's come, bro. He's so intriguing to follow. Because there's a point where I don't know if you call him Lutz or Lutz, his brother. I liked him more initially because he was just naturally pragmatic. There's something about people who are pragmatic that resonates with me, though I do think you could lean too far into it. Like, I always tell you, I couldn't get along with Chandra because at the end of the day, I'm still human. I know I'm one of those people, I think I'm a machine and a robot. I'm just logic and reason, but I'm not. I'm still human. Lila says Jibril summoned a god in the same way as Aline and Rand's aunt, who we saw with the disguised Brahma and Claude's flashback, so they might have used the same cheerleader method to summon the gods outside their own attributes. So do the cheerleader god version, they're weaker, right? Or they're not weaker? I don't remember if they mentioned how, like, if they get summoned at full strength that way, but both their journeys have been phenomenal. Yeah, like I've always said this, and I said this recently, and everyone's different. Some people care about lore, some people care about world building, some people care about like the central plot. Some people I think central plots are important, but I tend to take more intrigue and subplots personally. and there's characters. The characters thing that I care about the most. So the fact that Kubera, I always say, has like 10 out of 10 characters that like limit break to like 13 out of 10, it's always a treat. And Rand to me is one of those characters, and I really like referencing his training and what he did alongside him with like Yakstra and whatnot. So like, you know how like he could not drain his lifespan when he's like near water, and he could like use more power that way. When Callan and Vinka, I don't know what happens, but they get pushed to the water, and he starts. He kind of gets a little smiling. All right, I could fight without really burning my own life force. I love that moment. It was really good because it's just like that's how you train somebody. You show them how things work, and then when they're in the moment where they can use it, it's a good callback. That's how you do it. It's a very, very simplistic way to do it, but that's how it's done. Slave in utero. Rand has always been interesting to take on the standard shonen protagonist type. For you, fair. Not going to be here long, but Calavinka is hot. My heart goes out to Reltara. I love both of Maruna's and Rand's journeys have been on. I hear it. I like Calavinka. What are your thoughts on Calavinka? If you have any thoughts on her so far, Maruna's sister.
I love her.
Yeah,
I love her. Actually, all the Gerudos are. It's like weird, kind of like how like they're like kind of like I feel like they were initially made out to be arguably probably the most vicious out of them, honestly. But like I feel like they're the most like colorful, or at least different and like unique out of like the other species. Honestly.
Okay. I found her interesting. I like her. She's dope. She's extra interesting because of the stuff with Vishnu. Her and Vishnu having conversations wherever the hell we are. For the first time, we saw Vishnu's eyes, which are supposed to be like a color. What do you guys remember? What they said exactly? Like it's supposed to be like a color that humans cannot perceive or something of the sort. But Vishnu's eyes look kind of scary, dog. I was like, oh shoot. Do you guys trust Vishnu? Am I the only one who's like, I don't know about this guy? Is it just me?
I used to not. I think this chapter to me, I think I have far more trust in him because he seems like he knew like, not like the future, like the Vishnu you guys are gonna see. That's literally not me. Like, so I trust him a lot more now.
Okay. We sorry, where was I? Just needed to wear the collar. If I'm going to be with her, don't judge me. We see that Rand has furry eyes when he stops Brilith in the present. Is that permanent, or was he using his power? We are told with the Eye of Perishment, the effects can come back to the holder rather than the user, so we may see this happen. They were only shown because of the fighting. Vishnu was hard as F to read. Pre-Cataclysm, I would trust, but not post. Current Vishnu, no past Vishnu maybe. I always used to think that Vishnu was always on the righteous, even though his methods are cruel. And now that we know that he was going to change, its scenario. I want to put this picture up, by the way, just because I think it's important. I apologize. I just saw I dropped some frames for a second. I'm in my room. I'm not downstairs. Yeah, this is the panel. Scary, yo. Look at his eyes. Sick. I love it. Shout out Vishnu. Okay, so let's talk about the Eye of Perishment. Do you think that Arana's going to take the side effects for Calavinka? I guess real quick, a couple things I have to clarify. I didn't know there was more than one. I don't know why I didn't. I thought it was the same one that gets kind of reused. I think they said there's 7, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry. My memory is so trash, but I'm pretty sure they said there's 7 in total and whatnot. And is the one that they both have the same one that Vishnu gave, like that Vishnu gave Calavinka, the same one that Rand has? Is that did I read that right? Let me actually go back. I guess I could just check. It's literally can just check. But what I want to say with the Eye of Perishment is I really think the conditions to even like get someone to use it is so fucking cool. Cause you can't lie about it. you need to explain it so they fully understand what it is they're doing. I like that. I know we got a bit of that like kind of explanation earlier with the way that I think Maruna was mad about Senpante using it, but someone's like, no, like I told her how to use it. But it seems to be a built-in rule. You can't just give it to someone random and be like, oh no, like if you do this, you'll be super strong, and you're like in the back, but they're like get a bunch of effed up side effects. It's like, no, bro, you have to be honest about it, and I really like that. To the point where it's like, if you lie about it, the side effects come to you. Like you will pay this. You will pay the suffering. I'm like, that's sick. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I like it. It's such a. There's so many little things with this. It's just like, dude, I'm trying to remember it all. Yeah, the Katavinka thing is weird because she knows of it. So like, I'm like, what can Rand lie about then at this point?
Well, she seems to have not had it explained to her though, right? It's different from the one Rand had, and Cole was taken by Vishnu the way the time. So back to the question, what's the one Rand has right now? Who gave it to him? Okay. But yeah, you can't perceive Vishnu's eyes, which is really dope. I like that. That's probably why she always had it covered. But yeah, let me excuse me, go down and find this. I hate that I can't just scroll down with the thing, but yeah. So he's there thinking about it. He pulls it out and says, have you heard of the Eye of Perishment? He's like, Sora's called them pledge tokens. Like, oh, those, I know about them. Why you ask me about it all of a sudden? Did I tell you that I have such an item? It's like, what? So she knows so you know that she has one. Vishnu Nim, didn't you mention it because you knew that? Vishnu Nim gave it to me. He said he picked it up about 500 years ago. 500 years ago, the past from this point, then there's Maruna in like ice. There's like Vishnu with the weird cat. Lily's cat. The one he took was given to her. Then what is the one that I have? Is this supposed to be here with me right now? Why did I never question this? Could it be that you know how to use that item? Vishnu gave me the item, but didn't teach me how to use it. So I don't think she knows how to use it. But then again, she could be lying. I don't know if you think she is, but she could be not telling the truth.
I think she is. I think she has I think she actually trusts Rand about that. Mm-hmm. So I think she would be.
Okay. Could also be that there was.
Oh wait. Yeah. This is like a random like fact, but I just realized Rand's the only one that's actually interacted with all three siblings.
Yes. There's actually a part in the chapter where Lisa's standing and Kaz is around. Yeah, Kaz is around, and like there's like Utah's actually in. I know we can't see, but Utah's supposed to be there too. So, well, that's you're right with that. He's messing around with everything. His journey is so interesting. I don't know. I just don't know how else to put it. Him and Maruna. I love it, man. I don't think that's the case, but it's an interesting thought. But shoot, I had something I wanted to say. I lost my train of thought. So when he comes and they're like how Ral Tara is the reason that things are going awry and stuff, I thought it was so intriguing because I'm like, just didn't think Ral Tara's level of importance would extend like this far or like this. I really thought she like I think someone else in the chat said it earlier. I thought through the time traveling timey-wimey shenanigans, she would just kind of lose importance in some monster. Yeah. Funny thing,
yeah,
because she's not supposed to. I guess because she's not supposed to be here, present time, so to speak. So I never thought she would really come all the way with us there. But the amount of things that we're going through before Ryan appears, like with the furry arms to stop Brilith or whatever it was, I cannot wait, man, because I want to see how this really, really all connects. But the fact that a lot of this stuff is nearing the beginning of the series or like the start of the things that we know, some of the first events from the first season. I'm starting to get excited. Like I really want to know the real reasons behind certain things, and like we're gonna really, really get all that explained to us. I am moved too myself, so I'm excited. It always shocks me because I always remember and I thought that Kubera would not be a good weekly read. I remember thinking no matter what, like this is a good series, I love it, but I think it's gonna be a struggle to read weekly. It's not. It's the one. It's like I did make three videos on my vacation, but every time I knew Kubera was out, I sat down and I rather than reacted to it because I'm like, Kubera is the one. I do this for me, not for y'all. I'm joking, but yeah. Two things to be true at the same time. Do it for both of us. And I actually thought that this would be hard. It'd be hard to follow up the Anata arc because the Anata arc was really good. It also spans a bunch of different things too, from starting with like Anan and everything in the tournament, and then Kubera, Detective Kubera, and then was it if I remember correctly, who was the fusion stuff of Kanara and Kanara? Shoot, who did Kanara?
Arivata.
There you go, Arivata. Sorry, I was gonna say Kella and Vinka, but that was wrong. Like the fusion of like them, and then actually getting to like Garuda pulling up against Maruna, and Anata actually then now taking some actual literal agency in the story and stuff. Actually, hold on, did Anata start with the Snowflake Apple? Or was that the arc before? Just out of curiosity, with Ushas and
it was the arc before.
Okay, so never mind then. Okay, just making sure. So, yeah, then after it ending with like the shedding of time, I like to call it Nata's lingering will. I love Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, did you think the instinct to survive is something unique to the weak? I said, yo. All this considered, having reread Reborn, is this like low key the opposite of what Hibari said? Remember the little animal line? Yo, hold on. Hold on, yo. This shit is so gas, man. It's so good. Time Detective Kubera's on the case. Tips, yeah, you tip the detective hat. Kanara and Arivata. Lash trying to take the summoning. Cass with the summoning book was sus. You think so? Are you guys suspicious of Cass? Are you suspicious of him?
I don't
Not
know.
even for like,
I'm not,
as in like, oh, he's bad, but like he has his own kind of goals and motivations that are not aligned with like maybe Kubera or Lee's or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie. I just don't really like care for Cass. Like I be tuning them out sometimes. I'm not gonna hold you. Like
Okay.
I don't know if I'm like. It's so hard. Because, like, Kurigan's really good at, like, having people, like, keep to themselves about what they truly want. And based off his thing with his mom, who knows how he really feels and what he may want to do. But, like, it's just Future Cast, I don't know. There's just something about him, like, I don't see him wanting to do much. So I would say no. But
I think they're saying it because he seemed like pretty adamant about taking the summoning book. Really quick. I guess some people want to know why.
Yeah.
Like Kubera's summoning book. And like I think it somewhat ties into like when they have that other like conversation. When they actually finally meet after all these years and it goes weird. And I think he said something like it was better off if she like died or something like that or was dead. Like why would
it was Kubera.
Yeah, like why? Like there's more to him. So like when I say sus as a suspect, I see where they're coming from. That makes sense to me. I don't know what he wants though. That's the thing though, because I don't think he's a bad guy, so to speak, or a bad person with like unrighteous, devious motivations. But I don't know. We'll have to see. And he is fun too. And he tore the page with the spell. Didn't he? Yeah, like there's that too. Like, did he keep that page? Did he give it back? I don't even remember. It could just be that it could just be he jealously. He's always indifferent with Lee's. It's possible. You can't put it past.
I don't think he's indifferent to Lee's. I don't think he's indifferent to Lee's.
They're best friends?
Yeah. I took, like, she should have died as in, like, her life is going to be such a living hell, like, death would have just been better off.
Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of, like, I don't want to bring a child into the world that's suffering, this bad world, like, you're going to suffer your whole life, like, is it worth it? But,
yeah. I
ultimately always say you have to leave that to the decision of the person. Let them decide that. Because some people may have gone through a lot of trials and tribulations at some point, and maybe at some point they break through and they're just grateful to be alive. You never know. Things can change. Maybe she does get the happy ending. I don't think she is. I think Kurigama's gonna break my heart.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Are we team Asha?
Oh no.
You like Asha like not being like as involved is shocking to me. In the sense, no. In the sense that The story is still incredibly interesting and intriguing without her around. And at one point, I was wondering to myself if Asha was kind of like I hate this comparison to some degree because I think it's so lazy because they only have surface level overlap and commonality. But the Rachel of the series, in the sense that I think if you take Rachel out of Tower of God, that series is not good. Rachel's importance to Tower of God to me is integral to its success. With Asha, I still because season 2 is such a big part of her like coming out story and stuff like that. But I don't know if the story would really suck. Like I think Kurragham's talented enough that say Asha didn't exist or didn't exist in the way she did. I still think Kubera is just as good or a phenomenal story. That's my point. My main point.
I agree. I'm glad, because Asha can go kick rocks and die.
You're on the wrong side of history for this one, but it's okay.
And burn in hell by herself. I hope Yama tortures her soul for eternity.
Yeah. Kaz's time travel from Crackblock 3 by Exalted is resurfacing. Oh, Team Lee's. Kurragam got the fan tears cup. But if Lee's were to die all of a sudden, would Kubera still be Kubera? Well, that's the main character, though. I think.
We gotta be careful when we say Kubera, because sometimes I don't know who we're talking about.
No, it's a good point, but I think we said these would Kubera, the webtoon, be Kubera. So.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the guy.
No, but you're right, because it's like technically you could be talking about Lila, you could be talking about the god of Earth, you could talk about any of them halves that got packed up by Asha. Like,
it reminds me of the Team 4-star thing when like he's like. King Vegeta's like getting killed. He's like, or like assassinated. He's like, talking about me, my son, or the planet? Yes.
Yeah, King Vegeta, Friends Vegeta, and Planet Vegeta. I think that's a good point. That's funny. Maybe Kaz is more Claude sus. Okay, that makes sense to me. But Claude, you think Claude's a bad guy?
I don't know. Claude sus is kind of bad because he
be
Claude sus is like. He's willing to have sacrifices. He's willing to like let people die. Like I feel like Kaz's sus would have certain limits of like how far he'd be willing to go.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's like similar. I guess Isu. Like Isu is like smart, but he won't go too far. And like a Guerrero would like plunge his hands in some blood and some dirt, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Saw a meme once that was like, "Oh, you like Kubera? Name 5 characters." Kubera, that's on me. I set the bar too low. That's good. Kubera, top 5. That's good. I need that. That's a good one. I want that picture. That's funny. I've been actually like I don't know if I can attribute this to just me following and having more Kubera followers, but I see a lot of dope Kubera fan art these days that I used to see a lot of. I didn't even think people used to draw Kubera fan art. I'm like sure somewhere like deep in the Korean trenches, but I see a lot more dope. I have so much cool pictures of Maruna in his fifth form. I love it. 5th stage.
His fifth.
He looks so. I think he looks better actually.
I think he looks better too.
Yeah, like I think Maruna has a great design, but I think he looks better in his fifth stage. He looks really sick. He looks so sick. The ponytail is moving.
Like him and adult Yaksha are just chef's kiss. Yeah. They're just really good designs. Oh my gosh.
I agree.
This guy's good with the white hair. I'm not gonna lie. Like
it's moving me. Lila go crazy. Lila's so beautiful.
I just want to see the full full image, no wearing shit like.
Oh, naked? I'm kidding. No, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I'm kidding.
Hey, I mean, question mark?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't kidding, but you know what I'm saying. I have to be real careful while retweeting these fan arts in case of spoilers. Yeah, I know. Yeah, because some of you guys are like 20 chapters ahead, so I know. Because I remember the only spoiler that I could directly remembering, if let's say like someone was talking to me about My Hero and I was around, but I wasn't paying attention, I won't remember that you spoiled me technically. You know what I'm saying? The only one that I recall was the Usha stuff. I had seen pictures of what she looked like with like Indra at least 5 weeks before I saw her in the webtoon like that. So That's the only one I could think of.
Gotcha.
Otherwise,
Is this a hot? Is this a? I have a question. Is this a crazy take? I think Arivato is prettier than Lila.
No, I don't know if that's crazy. I don't know if it's because they hide Lila. So I'm like, it's like the art of the unknown playing it. But like, I think that a lot of the women in the series look really good. Like you know me, I'm a Brilith guy, but Lila I think probably is one of the best ones. But Usha's looks really good too. It's like she's really pretty. So they said which area Vata though?
Either one.
Okay.
I think probably the colder looking one's probably prettier.
Okay.
But I like the nicer one because of her personality. So either one.
My lunch is over. Hope you have a great stream, guys. All right, you take care. I don't even think it's not gonna go crazy long. I've been streaming for like 5-6 hours this whole week. So
Yeah.
my back hurt, but I just know we need. First of all, we still need to have this Sonata discussion. Are you still down to have it? Not today, but so.
Yeah. I still have like my notes for it way back.
Okay, that's good. So I'll get me and Vince. Even if you record it off stream or on stream, it's fine. But you gotta get that done. I want to do it because that arc really moved me, especially the end. And it just crazy to me how all over the place we are, in terms of like how it started and where it ended up. I'm like, we started with this purple hair dude, wanting revenge on the king, and look where I ended up. Like it's just so crazy to me. Old area Vata, maybe not current though. Kubera, Brilith, you know. Asha, damn, I forgot Lorraine's partner. You talking about Saha? He was done so dirty. I'll never forgive Asha. Not Asha, Lorraine's fault.
Nah.
Not Lorraine's fault.
Say it right.
No, Lorraine's fault. It's Lorraine.
Who killed him?
Lorraine killed her.
Well, okay.
Killed him. Saha deserved better, bro, than that bozo. Ugh. No, I hear you though. Like I hear you. What? That shit was so funny because I was like, "Wow." I'll never forgive Lorraine either. Her trying to drive into Asha later was not moving me. That did not move me. But it is really dope that the condition for her, like her win condition, was to make sure that Lorraine got packed up, and the fact that she didn't actually do the job properly. I think she had, was it like a Indra resistant something that helped her survive? I can't remember what it was, but or lightning resistant. You know what I mean. But that wasn't a moment of redemption. Someone needs to just throw her in the ocean and attach an anchor to her leg. Don't like her. Gone Harvard either. I don't like him. Oh God, I don't like that nigga.
Whatever. Whatever. You don't like fish. We get it.
What? Asha? She raw. I remember back in season 2 when it was ongoing. People were complaining that there hadn't been any deaths in what was an obscenely war arc. The next chapter of Sasa got fucked up. Also, Ash was overconfident. There's that too. Maybe because she had so much foreknowledge. I mean, we could point blame to Claude because he wouldn't let Asha near Lila. You think so?
Is that his fault though for protecting Lila?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if that's a right.
Like I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to say blame is not the word I want to use. I guess.
Yeah,
it's more like an indirect catalyst that caused her to force herself to go for Sastra. Kind of one of those things. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the verbiage of that.
You, the only person I know that likes Clary. She's funny.
Don't. We're not doing this. No. Stop.
I don't even like
I'm sick of y'all bringing this girl's name here. We're not doing this ever. Why do you ever bring this bitch's name?
Clary is so funny.
There's just certain characters in these series that I genuinely like. There's just one where I'm like, I just don't want to even like conversate about. Like Clary's one.
That's fair. That character started the video was funny. That was good. She showed me how she showed Asha how determined he was to protect Lila, and it turned into Saha into the best option after Lee's. No, I hear you. I get it, But it makes sense since Brahma said the ancient humans threw themselves into the universe of the losers. That's still the ancient humans are still so raw though. You'll never forget that like whole like reveal and stuff. I'm like I love this concept. It's so interesting to me. Just the constant kind of cycle of rebirth. I love it. And what was the rite of passage thing called again? When you get your memories from your past life, do you remember? What's it called actually? What's the actual jargon? I don't remember what it was called.
I actually forget.
But that was really a really cool concept too. And then I like this one point where like Maruna's like explaining stuff. Coming of age ceremony. There we go. Coming of age. Yeah, it's so good. It was so good. The only thing about this series that worries me, especially if you're as a weekly reader, is if you really care about certain characters and you just don't see them for so long, I wonder how that affects someone's enjoyment. Like I'm cool enough and logical enough, and I like storytelling enough that I like even if you don't focus on a character I like to that degree, still can understand its important stuff. Like how does like a true blue diehard like Lee's fan feel right now, or like Utah kind of like they're not really around.
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those things for me where it's like I don't have to see her suffer, so like I win.
Okay.
I'm winning partially. Somehow, some way, I'll find a way to win.
Okay. Because I think about like Utah's involvement throughout the second season and the drop off that he's had. Not that he's not important or not vital, we won't circle back, but he's just not around as much. And as a result of that, he's just not as important to me. Not that he was a character that I loved to that degree, I guess. I don't even remember. He may have been in my top 10, but it's just like, I don't really think about Utah like that. It's like, when he comes around, he comes around. Because sometimes I read the Web2 comment section when I go to like it. And I remember at one point, this is especially before I think, you know when Maruna was told he's being too calculating and he's finally able to see Jatayu and he gets that send off, and as the universe is ending, like time Lee's appears. Prior to that, a lot of the comments were always like, "Where's Lee's?" Or someone was like keeping track like week 264 of not seeing the main character, and I'm like, are they memeing? Are they trolling? Are some of them obsessed? Can two things be true at the same time? It's like a little bit of both.
They do that with every fucking webtoon though. It's kind of like annoying at a certain point. Like it was just every week the top comments just, where's Jin Mori? Where's Ethan? Where's Dumpling Boy? Like they always just do. It's like, bro, relax. There's other characters in the story. Chill, you'll be all right.
But this is also like one of those series. Like unfortunately, like everybody that I speak to about it, like shout out to everybody in the chat, in my comic section, in the Discord and stuff. They care about Kubera, and they know what they're talking about. A lot of those readers, I'm like, this series is way too intellectual for a lot of you. I'm saying it. I'm going there. I don't care how anyone feels about it. Like, you are too dumb to fully appreciate this series. Sitting over there crying about a character like that. Not that I understand, but because even me, I still need to get my the contents and this very specific minutia kind of stuck in my head the way that I know it about other series, but I need to revisit it a little bit more. I'm not the person who reads it once and retains everything. I have to reread it like a million times and constantly parse through information for research for stuff, because what I want to start doing once Tower of God is officially the last chapter comes out, is I want to start working on some Kubera stuff intensely. So I gotta get the knowledge up. Yeah, it has to be a meme. Okay. Imagine the day SLU sidelight BAM webtoon. The comment section will be nude. Damn, BAM needs to be sidelight to let it work. Facts. Yeah, I interacted with a few dumb ones. Where have you been, Ashu? I thought almost like who will die. I worry about Lila. You think so? I don't do this often with this series, just because I don't have the wherewithal to do it. But do you think you could make a prediction for the next chapter? Just a general prediction,
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Absolutely not. There's no way.
Don't
If this is the other series, maybe this. Nah, I'll resign myself to just saying I don't know.
Yep. Sometimes that's the right answer, and it's okay to just not know. This girl won't send me for some reason. Oh, yeah, you're a little late, but welcome. Better late than never. Is I'm trying to. I'm also thinking about some of my. Go ahead.
I was gonna say when you're doing Kubera, is it or sorry, oh my god, when you're doing the Anata arc, who's also Kubera, or no, he's not. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. But when we're doing the Anata, it's just the Anata arc, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have some timeline questions about the timeline. Is it timeline arc? Or the arc, the 7 chapter arc right before that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just ask him now.
No, I mean that's fine. You can ask it. I don't. You could ask it during it. Like just because we're talking about the Anata arc doesn't mean we can't seep into other.
I got. They're like 10. They're like 10 strong, like big questions.
That's fine. I mean, go ahead.
Okay.
Ask two.
Okay. Let me look at this. Okay. Yeah, this is more a question about how timelines exist in this world. Because Maruna talks to Vayu in different dimensions, yet Vayu remembers the past of when he does it. So I was asking at which point is the distinction between different timelines or universes? Because it seems like every universe has the same beginning. So does the divergence for timelines begin after the death of Anata, or is it something else?
Shit, I don't know.
Like with like the so like maybe a bit word like with the timelines, right? Like we're in a part of the story where they keep going to the fake futures that don't exist,
The
right?
possible ones, right?
They're possible yeah, they say they're possible universes where their beginning is the exact same of Kubera, ancient humans come. So I'm asking, is the divergence in which these exist after Nada's death? Is this only where all these separate timelines can now come to be?
Or could it happen earlier than that, or around that?
Yeah.
Okay, what you're saying. That's interesting. I mean, I'll actually be interested to look into some of that stuff. I might just look into it. Maybe you can just send me those somewhere else. Maybe I'll look into it, see what I can find. Interesting.
I'm trying to think of the also verbiage, because I swear the verbiage is like is weird, because I think at some points they use universes or dimensions, and at some points they use timelines.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of always that weird thing of like, is it the multiversal theory where you're saying like each choice can create different universes, which this seems like to be, or we're saying it's like Marvel where it's like it was just like different universes with different, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's stuff like that.
Because every series, someone does it differently. Where it's like some series too, if you rewrite something in the past or the future, it affects everything, and sometimes it just diverges to another timeline. That feature still happens.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends on what route she wants to go with it. My understanding is because the possibility of a universe isn't really something, isn't really a concept in the multiverse that I've really explored. Where it's like, no, it just exists. It's here, because there was this moment where I could have turned right, left, or went straight. And in one universe I crash. One universe I don't make it. When I go left. When I go straight. When I go right. When I take a plane. I don't know, right? So all of those split in that moment, creating slightly different alterations, but they exist. They're not a possibility. So it's always interesting to look at it that way. But I haven't particularly thought about it too deeply, but I am going to do it now. I'm going to think about it. See what chat's saying. Kubera reread will be so dope. Can't wait to get to it. I can't wait till we do it on stream together. But that's not happening until next year. Don't even look at me right now, okay? That next year. Next year, like April. That's a really heavy question. I need to think about it. I think the timelines can diverge at any point, but the possible universe eventually run out of energy and collapse. Some are not accessible anymore. I think it could be created at any time, anyone, through time travel shenanigans, or even, of course, due to a future version. I mean, you can say the possibilities are infinite because of the paper of records keep expanding when they overflow. Also, only one can exit, and the rest we saw, since they all have the divergence point. Anything before that would be the same in different universes. So that explains why Vayu remembers meeting Maruna on the other timeline. Oh, there we go. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I was. Okay, that's what I was asking.
That's what
Yeah,
you're trying to
'cause he met
clarify.
him in the yeah, because he was in a different timeline, but they met in the past of the original non-divergent timeline.
I think
So
what
that's why I'm
probably
saying
threw
there
us
would have to
off
be a
was
point where
was,
it's
was
normal.
Anata, because there was a version of Anata that didn't immediately recognize that he already had spoken to Maruna in some capacity. Remember that?
Yes.
So I think
Yes.
that's what calls it into question, because you're like, but this guy is the one who can kind of hop and skip and go around all he wants too, right? So, but I don't think there's any inconsistencies if anybody is worried about that. That wasn't the question. We were trying to clarify. That's all. But again, I hadn't intently, deeply thought about it to that degree. Sometimes. Sometimes I'll be reading the chapters and I'm lost, but I'm having a great time. So I said lost in the sense that I'm like, I don't know where we're going with this, not that I don't comprehend what's happening.
Right.
Cause I'm like, I don't even know where we're going. I didn't even know we were gonna be here. I didn't know Jibril and Lala were gonna have some combat. You know, like didn't see this coming. And seeing her standing there too, when I saw something, I'm like, oh shoot, Brilith's mom, let's go. Like, raw. Do you have any thoughts on the dad, by the way? Brilith's dad. I thought he was kind of interesting.
Fuck that nigga.
What did he do?
How's he kill Bill? I mean, you know, he did his little. But he seemed like he was the one that was like wanted to kill Brilith off. I mean, it's no respect to really both of the parents of Brilith, if we're being honest.
Yeah, both of them are kind of
pretty horrible parents.
Yeah.
But he's interesting. It was one of those things like when we first saw him, I was like, dang, this is weird because we've never seen or even like really talked about him until this moment, and I've never thought about like who the dad was.
Same. I think he was. No, I know. I'm pretty sure he was somewhat mentioned to some degree, but you're right. There was no real focus or emphasis on him in any capacity. So when he popped up, I'm like, oh yes, man and woman, sex, child, true. literally like when I'm like, oh yeah, there's a dad. You can say that. Wait, someone. Hold on. Maybe because Ananta is the one who needs to remember all the universes he's traveled. Others need to remember the one they are in, regardless of how much the past diverge. The version of Anata that met Maruna was a future version that was taking the place of the present Anata. That's why he didn't remember meeting Maruna, and why he couldn't explain where he was during the attack on the planets. No, like, I understand how that works. My point was, the reason why I think the Vayu question even comes up is because why did he recognize it and the actual literal kind of time traveler didn't? But I remember that you guys had already explained that to me on full detail before, because there was the one who got the soul for Aruna and all that stuff. So he was in a painting way back in the beginning of season 3, but he'll never fully discuss otherwise. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you write notes for yourself? And when you write the notes at the time, you write it in a way where it makes sense based off what you're doing. When you go back, you're like, dang, why did I just not write this out like a normal person?
Oh, I actually have that problem in general with my note taking. If I'm not very strict and specific and diligent about it, I'll go back to it. I'm like, I don't even know why I wrote this. I don't know what this means. I have no idea why I wrote remember Brilith fire. What does that mean? I don't remember.
So I'm looking at some of these notes. I'm like, I think I understand the general concept. I'm like, why did I just not write this out better?
Yeah, no.
What the fuck?
No, I feel you, because like, yeah, like, where was it? Where was I looking at the other day? I'm like, what does this even mean? Shoot, hold on. I don't know what page it was on. But anyways, I was just like, yeah, no, I feel that, like, and it's like why did you bother taking the notes if you were gonna do it properly, and now you don't remember? Might as well just not have taken them. So you just feel,
yeah.
So I just feel like doubly is stupid.
Wait. Yeah. So here's another, I guess, two-parter. Okay. This is towards the end of that specific arc. Kubera calls Lee's truly a particular time.
You say that again?
Kubera calls Lee's truly a particular time. Mm-hmm. As if it's like a title, right? And this is at the point where we know kind of about, like, this is where we just learned out time, the snake thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm wondering if the white Lee's that we see that comes in at the end, that's the one that attacks the fourth stage Yuta, that's the body. If she's now considered at this point, this future Lee's, she's now the current Time Priest Guardian, and she now taken that role.
Oh, like the little temple palace cave
Yes,
jigger. That's interesting. I do think that
and that's
the
why her being
time leads is like a futuristic kind of. I don't know. That's interesting.
or the resurrection of Anata worked on her. That's why she was also so powerful enough to just physically swat away fourth stage Utah that
Hmm.
was wiping out everybody else.
Do you think? Because wait, just real quick. Just, I don't remember. Make sure I remember this correctly because it was a big moment, but I don't remember it as well as I probably should. She has his name, right?
He has his name, yes.
You think that's like so? Like, what? How does that play into things now? Is really the question too. So, is it like? Because we used to put resurrection. I don't like I don't know how specific certain things have to be. Like if I just say that name, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know. Do you think the Anatta really needs to exist in some form, or even as a name for the universe to exist? He seems to be extremely integral. Actually, that you asked me that's if that's why Elise has a name. That's interesting.
It's well.
When did she get it? Sorry,
there
Callie.
would
Did
be a
Callie
time-
give it to her, or did she get it around that time for some reason?
I think she. I think she was born with that name.
Okay, I was wondering what you're thinking about that. I'll say Nata is the lifeline.
There's just Callie just revealed it to us
Okay.
more so than anything.
Okay.
But even if that was the case, the name had to exist. There would still be that 500-year time gap from his death till he's being born with that name.
And I guess I'm wondering if the shedding of time, like, what time period does that thing get defeated, if even, or whatever? Do you think that not existing too could somehow keeping the stability of everything in check? I wonder.
I like questions about sins, and I don't know why I worded it like I'm 4 years old. What the fuck does this say? I'd be my own ass if I could.
That does a lifeline. Sorry, does he attract? Does he attract by where he is the energy or the alternate timelines too? My guess is that she became Anatta. Names and lifespans are tied to each other. My theory that she takes on Anatta's name at the end of her lifespan and lives on as Anatta.
That's what I think. That form of why she's considered now time.
Okay.
And she was so strong because she beat Utah at fourth stage easily. Just with like she just threw him around. Like no one was doing that. And she seemed like super like old because at that point like she wasn't super aggressive with Maruna when she saw him either.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she asked the question.
Who completed her journey of the Kubera story now and is revisiting the story with a different timeline, trying to make sure things are better for Elise here. I think that makes sense.
Yes. That's what I think, yeah.
But so my question is kind of like, is she here to maybe not lead her to become this? Because like one thing that's interesting about this series is like I think she tackles the concept of like different perspectives on things really well, especially amongst the varying races, because the way we're going to see certain things is tied to how our lifespan, because it's like I'm old at 50 as a pure blood, but as a quarter I'm not, as a half I'm not, as a god, well I'm literally a baby at 50, not even like, you know, old or elderly or half a century kind of thing, right? So I still have to say this. Is Lee's always supposed to become that, and really her suffering is to basically do what Anatta did? Because we know that in hindsight, in retrospect, that man was going through it. And this is like the tragic fate of her like final whatever the case is when she's not really existing. Or is it truly something worse?
I think she lives in existence similar to him. Because his thing is like, this kind of is like a question because like it seems if I'm trying to decipher myself, it seems I was trying to say like the bystander effect really it works for Anatta, right? Where him being a bystander alone makes him take on sin, right? Mm-hmm. But it doesn't seem to be the case for anybody else in the world. So I'm curious if he like is the sole individual that took on like the essence, or is the only one that can actually?
It's the point. He wants to be the most
Those other
powerful
people
being in
in
the
the
universe.
verse
Do you think that's just
Yeah.
a caveat that comes with such a responsibility?
That's what I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask.
Yeah.
I was like, was this a thing that was given to him at it, or was this something that he took on, which allowed people like the Nastikas, gods, and humans to be bystanders, such as Maruna watching the ancient humans getting massacred did not affect him at all.
Mm. Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting to ask that. I got so many thoughts, but I'm also ready to look dumb. I think we will also get some information on the previous universe. Might give some insight into God Kubera's actions and why he's a cheerleader. Is it indifference, or did something really influence him that makes him want to root for the losers? Lise has shown that she respects the decision of her past self. Back when Kelly sent her back, so her getting time powers and keeping things as they happen makes sense to me. That's a good point. I think the responsibility comes with the name itself. I personally think she just reminds him a lot of Anata and why he acts despite his plans to help her. I wonder if so you don't necessarily think it's so the responsibility of having that name and quote unquote basically I guess becoming the strongest in the universe is because you have the ability and power and wherewithal to stop bad things from happening if you were to let it happen. It's literally the concept. It's like literally the concept. Like, did you have? I don't know if you ever had this like ad at some point like growing up where it's like, if you watch somebody getting bullied, you're a bystander and you're part of the problem. Like, like that type of thing. So that's how I see it. Because like you could just stop it here, but like that responsibility is honestly is crazy. I would even if it made me the strongest person in the universe. I'm like, I don't want to do this shit.
Not at all.
Like
that's why it's curious. But I could also see him being as a person that forcibly just took the sin himself as well. Based off his personality, it seems like he would also do that. So it's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that he had to get used to, or he did it?
Do you think we're actually leaning into a what's the word I want to say this? Like a way to understand how that truly fully works, in the sense that there's a possibility that Rand takes on the punishment for the Eye of Perishment for Kellen Vinca. Don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not. And maybe through seeing how that affects him and what it does, we get a bit of an understanding of maybe at a very low tier level of what Anata's going through with sins. I don't know.
It seems kind of like the main cast in some ways are taking on like the roles that like Anata did with like that's why with the bystander said it's kind of weird to me where like when Maruna then takes on the sense himself and reaches 5th stage, is that Maruna being good, or does Maruna owe that to Anata because Anata's taken it for them this entire time that they're allowed to be bystanders?
That's a good question.
And that would also then extend to like Rand and like his decision on what he wants to do.
You said not if I help the bully. Sorry. Repeat that.
With just Maruna, like is it owed to Anata for Maruna to do what he did, or is it really a free will thing?
That's a good question because in a lot of ways he's the reason that Maruna, I guess, exists as he is. I know it's not Aruna anymore, by taking the soul and blah blah yada yada. So it's almost like you owe me one. Everyone gets one. Spider-Man, he swings away the Family Guy Spider-Man. Everyone gets one. I personally interpreted it like you have inserted that thought into my mind now. As I was reading it, I thought it was something he did of his own free will because I was trying to figure out if Anata, even the like version of Anata that has the name that is like the version that we see, like the Sura, right? Is he actually just a special being in totality that the only way for sins to be contained is you almost have to get like 5 people to do the job of Anata? So the person who goes around doing stuff is Lise, and then maybe Maruna could take on some of the brunt of the sins because he's stronger in his 5th stage. Like, I was trying to figure out if it's one of those things where it's like, Near and Mellow cannot surpass L, but together they can.
Right.
I don't know. So, let's see. I think we can extend the Sin's if we can extend the Sin's concept, the fact that you were persuaded to take a name means the responsibility also falls on you, not the persuader, the one that gave you the name, with the past owner of the name. Okay. For real, I would not complain. I personally think she just reminds me of Nata. I would not complain if she had a soul though. But for real, it's true that it is some responsibility, but depends. And kids especially have the worst peer pressure. Do you think Kalavinka has the Aruna name now? Actress said they would keep the name. Being Rakshasas, Aruna, and killing them if the name didn't fit, but Kalavinka is alive. I never thought about that. I don't think so. I never thought about that. But no, I'm an idiot. We don't know any of their real names technically, because Jatayu and Noryuta is really his real name. No, that's interesting. If the name Aruna went to Kalavinka, I think I like that. But I do think for some reason Aruna will get his name back at some point. But
it would make sense on why she was allowed to technically live after Maruna, because all his siblings were supposed to be killed. Mm-hmm. So the name Aruna would go back to him eventually.
Mm-hmm. That could work. Just it could work. Just split the responsibility. The universe was poorly made in the first place, and the Primavals don't bother to find the solutions amongst ourselves. I never thought about it that way. You're moved. Merkins, Callie herself couldn't make more deceptive moves. Yeah, I don't know. I only really thought that because sorry. I'm like, there's someone else I was thinking about that I thought played a role in this too. Rao. I said Ram, but I'm like, well, that's an R name, but Rao, because the way Rao was moving with the Nata and stuff too, yes. Kind of like with the Lee's bloodline and Maruna and stuff. It's like it's not as effective, it's not as efficient, but you guys can do my job, type of thing.
Yes, because Rao was the priest of the Temple of Time at one point. Remember? Mm. So it seems like, but his power just wasn't enough. And that's why I'm curious about if him and Anata created Lees with the responsibility of I'm going to make you a human that could almost do it, but if we can give her my name, and then Kubera, who's also I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure Anata alive, is I'll give her my name to create these contingencies to make sure she'll have the power and the ability to take on this role.
Because it's always interesting to think about the fact that she technically has a name from everything. A human name, so to speak, a Sura name, and a name of a god. So is she this weird naming ultimate hybrid fusion? Is she Ichigo? She's a full bringer human, visored, Orankar, hollow Quincy?
That's right. Especially because it's also weird because it's you're also the only one that in which your names Kubera can be because of the competition, quote unquote, that Vayu made, even though we know based off things now, the Vayu that did this isn't the actual Vayu. He's the one that created this competition that allows Kuberas to get stronger based off their names, which doesn't exist for any other person that has the name of gods. So now, me believing that was Callie, I'm curious if Callie's playing this long game, because it seemed like she wanted Kubera's name Anata. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if she was doing this thing as a means to power Kubera up to take it when it's right and gain the power for herself.
I like that. I don't know, but I like that. Where it's almost what am I thinking of? I'm a eat up, keep eating. You kind of getting them plump, so you want them when they're at their best kind of thing, or fully flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if certain names have special. I don't know. They do, but I'm trying to think of Nah, I'll save that. That sounded dumb to me. I'm thinking about it for a little longer. Hold on. What did you guys say here? I mean, most Primevals don't really want to take responsibility. It could work, but a scapegoat, why bother? Time leads. Mentioned Maruna having a different name that he didn't know too. That's a good point. I remember that. I think it seems that the Rakshasas receive names through a system they can't control. Otherwise, they can just not name anyone Aruna at all until they found a way to give the name back. Fernanda said they killed all
Yeah, it seems like
Maruna's
a first
siblings.
come first served basis.
Yeah, so why is she alive? Did they change their mind? Or she really has Aruna's name? Maybe her true name was stronger than Aruna? That's interesting.
No,
Or at
I
least
don't. I
for
don't think
her.
so.
I don't know. Maybe for her, maybe names have a level of resonance. I don't know. My theory is that,
Because I mean they have a record of all the names.
yeah. Because didn't Gan Havra somehow steal the name that he has? I don't know if he literally did it himself, but that wasn't supposed to be Gan Havra's name, wasn't it? Wasn't it? I
The way I
really
took it
remember a line like
was
that.
what's his name stole it. What's her name? I think it was fuck. His wife stole it and
Okay.
gave it to him.
Okay.
And she was supposed to be Don Havra, but she chose to let it be him rather than her.
My theory is that Kalavinka has the Aruna name and Maruna has the Garuda name. When he calls himself Garuda at the beginning of the universe, he may have superseded actual Garuda's authority over the name, since at that point he was older than all the other beings. I fucking love that.
I don't.
But what?
I guess my question would be, but they knew who Garuda was at that point, so he would have Garuda.
You're cutting out a bit. Vishnu was a friend of Garuda.
Garuda existed already at that point, though. Like they knew who he was, so he would have had to have been named in the first place. For Maruna to use that name to get out of that sticky situation.
Okay. Vishnu was a friend of Garuda and did take word for her, but why? I think he did have to, whatever. Kubera and Yama did some shady stuff with Kinara's name too, back when it was given to Anand's friend and she died. Hey, leave Yama alone. That's the best god. Everything he does is correct. Never been wrong a day in his life. I love Yama. This is the real Yama. The Yama that I could rep. Kubera was actually the one to say Maruna could be Garuda to the other gods at the beginning of the universe. I don't remember that. I'll take your word for it, though. I believe in your memory more than I believe in mine. I'll tell you that much. Ask another one. This is fun.
Who, me?
Yeah, one more. Then I'm gonna go.
Let me see. I know like one about Sens and then one about Callie's item. I don't know what I was trying to say. This was about the Taraka Sens. And I said something about Taraka Sens. Are Taraka, the Sins of Tarakas or Taraka Sins given form? Or Sins fused with the old Chaos attribute Shura? And then talk about the festering thing at the bottom of the Shura realm for ages.
Wait, sorry. One more time.
Are Taraka Sins... Oh, I should have had a comma. Okay. Are Tarakas, comma, Sins given form? Or Sins fused with old Chaos attribute Shura? Talk about this, and then talk about the festering thing at the bottom of the Shura realm for ages. But I guess we know now Tarakas were actually just the actual one species.
Yeah.
But I guess the New Age Tarakas, which could be these things get a form. And I guess I said something about the festering thing that was bottom of the Shura realm, which was I think where Yuta was for a while. But that thing Yuta is. It was months ago. Something like that. But then about the Orb of Perishment or Eye of Perishment that lets you develop it is the curse that you take away Callie's sins for her, so she's not accumulating more sins, and that's why all the Rashes that die have terrible ends, or do they become Taraka clan members? But I think some of these questions already been answered, so
to some degree. But but they're interesting. Still keep them around just in case. But or is she dead? I don't know. Because we did get some explanations for how the Eye of Perishment works in terms of the punishment. It's something yeah, we did get the explanation. I remember that. But I was actually, as you were saying that, I was actually reminded of those weird ass things you've been seeing, Kel and Vinka and those people fight. What? And I know they're supposed to be losers and stuff, but do you think they're at all related to Sin or Tarakas, or do you think that's a completely separate thing?
I have to go back because I think the reason why I have sins in this stuff is because things were talked about in a really weird and particular way
Mm-hmm.
in that arc, where to me I think it was like they made it almost seem as if like things could be like living things. I can't remember what it was, but it was just like some weird way in which they were speaking about the topic that was like really throwing me off.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay, cause I'm still like these weird things. The bear, this bear. Like these things are freaky, man. Man really said there's a bear outside. Look at that! It's a big bear, bigger than the one that was caught last time. 100 times bigger. Whoa. What do you do? You have any thoughts on HAAS, Kaz's brother, older brother? I really think he's still vital to some degree. Beware of raw spoilers. What happened? Wait, where? Who's spoiling me? Stop. Luckily, I didn't register it. If someone said it, I guess I'm good. But yeah, don't. I'm on Abyss 12, and I'm not one of those people who like spoilers. I don't. I like to experience things fresh, with no expectations. So, but all right. You got any final words?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I was just worried. I don't know. I got scared. I was gonna run. About to run away before I got spoiled. Okay. Okay. I guess the last thing I'll say is this, and then I'll wrap it up. One moment of this series that I'm really interested in, because like Anata has become this really important figure in many ways, but what I'm interested in is like, do Lise and Asha somehow have gotten a portion of his power and ability with the way that Asha was looking and that weird thing she did, and the fact that I guess the shedding of time possibly Anata in the room I think this was the Weight of Time arc. Remember that one panel we didn't really take in that he was there. Like I want to know what this collision course is really shaping up to be, and I'm very excited for it. And I want to actually ask you if you had a definitive favorite arc of the third season. You guys in the chat answer this to me too. Do you guys have a favorite arc in the third season? I didn't think I was gonna like anything more than A Weight of Time, but The Weight of Time isn't my favorite season 3 arc anymore.
It might be Weight of Time.
Yeah, for you still? I think I like Anata a bit more, honestly. And this arc, I think, is shaping up to be just as good. So I don't know. Just curious. The other side of the story is really good too. I know it's like kind of like literally like it's kind of the other.
It's hard,
but you know, because like I don't like, as far as I'm concerned, because of the quality of all these arcs, there isn't a wrong answer. I'm mostly just wondering what your favorite is. It's really what I'm asking.
It's hard because I reread Anata and the other one, and I haven't reread the other. So like I feel like it'd be unfair for me to choose. I don't know. Well, this one happened with Maruna and Weight of Time. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. This is hard. I don't know.
Okay. No, I just want to. I'm just thinking season 3 right now, because my favorite arc in general, I don't think is probably from the third season. I think it's from the second one, but we should do one though. We should do one. I might have to like, because the only thing that's always been unfortunate about this series is because of its lack of popularity, especially like I'm gonna say like probably like North American places or English speaking places. I've seen a lot of people Funko Fun, like people who are French who are into it, but we don't have a lot of stuff. So like I'm sure if I like look up a tier list, I'm not gonna find it. I'm gonna have to make a tier list. So. There's a lot of cool things that I want to do with this series, but like I know I have to like be. I don't have to be the creator of the god items for us. So,
right.
A Weight of Time, not a top 5ish, but there are so many good ones, bro. I'm gonna have to do a reread later to avoid recency bias for that. But before Weight of Time started, Crown and Punishment was my favorite. Can we consider the Weight of Time Until Abyss one big arc? Like. I know what you mean, because this story is so cohesive and connected and streamlined that we kind of just call it a different arc, but it's all connected. and it almost feels like this is supposed to come right after another.
It's like a saga.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying, because it's almost like saying like
Saga.
it's like the equivalent of like I guess if you want to call something like the Hell Train saga or like the Water 7 saga, but you specifically like NES lobbies. You know, like I get it. I hear what you're saying. Abyss and Anata are tied for me. Seeing Rao and Lisa's village are what I'm most interested in. That's fair. Crime and Punishment still sticks out for me with the Cali moment. I feel that. Recency bias may be showing here to bit. I'm not mad at that. Initial Brill stuff too. Anata's arc's end was dope. Weight of Time. It's hard to pick. The development in the Weight of Time is great, but the reveals in Anata are so great. Is Anata with Anata and then that? Yes, I think so. Starts with Anata. The Time Travel Saga, just what I call it. Yeah, there you go. The Time Travel Saga. There you go. That's a good name for it. It's so good. It's great stuff. But I will be bringing back the especially with Ingon, we'll be bringing back weekly discussions. So you get your live reaction, and then like the video after will be a discussion video and stuff too. I think I might do it I don't know if I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll just do it weekly. I might not do it that way, but so stay tuned for that. You already know I gotta show love to the Patreon gang. Yes, sir. Shout out to the certified BAM lovers, my CBLs. Big love to the Priest of Fire. I greatly appreciate you guys' support, but especially shout out to my 5th Zen God. Shout out to Simi, Scobe, Revenant, Miles, Lucky Roo, Lazy Dragon, Chris, Johnny Rogers, Irene Sharda, Triss, David Langstaff, Childish Nujabes, Alan, AJ, Abdel, and 5:28 a.m. Your support is greatly appreciated, and thank you.